Hello and welcome to Dad's Our Job, episode 8. This is your host Adam Leatherbarrow and I'm joined by the Halstead brothers, Callum and Rob. Guys, how you getting on?
Yeah, I'm great, thank you. What about you, Rob?
Yeah, I'm doing very well, thank you. I am quite happy and I am living my best life this week. And I hope you can all say the same too. But first I'll tell you about my week because I enjoyed my week.
Well, don't jump in.
Why not?
Oh, go on and carry on.
Well, who was you going? Was you going to talk about your week?
No, you
I thought we were just going to introduce ourselves four times over.
What, like we did already? Disclaimer, we've been absolutely awful in trying to set this up this week. But needless to say, we are here. So, it's been a busy week, but the best part of the week was at the weekend. Callum and I took our families out and we went and saw the Gruffalo in Colchester. It's an absolutely banger of a show. And 3-2. Oh, come on, Adam. Let me finish talking first, bro.
Go on, go.
It's a decent weekend, to be fair.
Yeah, so Porto.
Go. Go on, you was eating toilet roll.
Alright, okay, hang on. I've got to find myself.
I'll tell you what happened, right? This is what happened. Me and Rob, we went to see the Gruffalo at was it Chelmsford? Colchester, sorry. Took the children. Great show. Kids loved it. And it was actually really nice because last time I took Bo to a show, we didn't go into the show. We had to watch it from one of the little circle holes for the doors because he was too scared to go in. But he actually went in and he absolutely loved it. Like I say, the kids loved it. The actual show was fantastic. So, like, parents could buy into it. It was targeted at the kids, but we all enjoyed ourselves as well. The only downfall was I had an absolute disgusting, sick, coughing, snotty nose person next to me, and it just happened to be my brother. That's the only trouble.
I thought you were describing the Gruffalo. No, yes, I was very unwell.
His eyes are orange.
My tongue was black. I was feeling very sorry for myself.
Snot was rolling down his nose.
Back.
It was very rough. I felt very sorry for myself. I had to sit at the end of the row anyway because it was so bad. And I was so far away from my family because they were on the other side of us. And it was pretty rough. I was comforted by the fact that I was getting notifications for Arsenal Leicester. I was very concerned up until the 90th minute until we banged 2 in to make it 4-2. But other than that, the day was rough. But the Gruffalo and Arsenal's result saved it. And the rest of the week has been recovery. But gently so. It's been okay. It's been okay.
Yeah, you was proper sick. I mean, if I know like none of you know Rob, but he'd never get sick, and he was rough. Like literally like 2 pieces.
He was the rougher though.
Yeah, he was literally 2 pieces of tissue up his nose.
I did have 2 pieces of tissue up my nose.
He went half an hour because he went to the pharmacy to try and buy some like cough medicine or cough sweets or something.
And do you know what the worst part was? Right, I'm like, read the room, right? Read the room. I am so ill, right? And then Kelly's like, yeah, we can go for dinner now. I was like, what? What?
The red wine went down nice, didn't it?
I did drink a red wine. It did help my throat, to be fair. But oh yeah, it was rough. But I would have hated missing out on the Gruffalo. So. Yeah.
So talking of bodily fluids, then like we're gonna
change
it up.
Where are we going with this?
Where are we going with this? So this week we've done a poll on our threads and Twitter as to what as a parent, what is the most gag effect experience that you've had as a parent, and the options were A, poo, B, snot, or C, sick. And the unanimous winner was sick, surprisingly. I thought it would have been poo, but
yeah,
I mean, we've gone straight into the potty talk straight away. But guys, what was your most memorable experience, good or bad, in terms of the options on offer?
So, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm not really bothered by any of them, but there is a time when we literally had Bo, and I think it was maybe even the first time I took Bo to see my eldest sisters, and as you do, first child, dress them all up in all this proper nice, expensive like baby gear, and I'm literally just about to walk out the door. Well, I did walk out the door. I'm walking down the road, I must have got maybe 10 yards, and Bo was sick. But he was not just sick, he was sick out of his nose. And literally, I turned around and H was like, what are you doing back? And I was like, look at him. And then I think we ended up taking him down in like a Primark run pub because like literally all the nice stuff that we had for him was just absolutely covered with like that milk sick as well. You know, when it's just like, oh, and it's obviously stinks.
Yeah.
So yeah, literally I got 10 out the door.
Was it milk sick or formula sick?
Formula, sorry.
Oh, yeah,
formula sick. Yeah.
Oh.
And it's horrendous, isn't it? And yeah, and I'll never forget that, literally. And I remember getting down to see my sister. And was like, what's took you so long? Like, and I was like, well, literally, we had him changed. I had to take him back in. It was almost like a whole bath job, getting like redressed and then take it back out. It was just carnage. I've got another story for you about poo in a minute, but we'll come back to that in a minute. Go on.
Right. So
we're doing the sick round first, and then we'll do the poo roundup.
I haven't got a sick round. This one just stands out particularly for me. Like Callum, I'm not squeamish about those types of things. Not a problem. Wipe it up, clean it up, whatever. But the worst time it ever happened was we were at Disneyland Paris. And I don't know if you guys have ever, you definitely have, Cal, I don't know if you have, Adam, but when you walk up towards the castle, if you go through the castle, on the right side, there's a bit where all the Disney princes walk back to the place where the Disney princesses go, obviously, in between doing bits and pieces.
And for a fag and a beer.
Oh, don't ruin the magic. But
Cinders having embers.
But listen, so anyway, as they're walking back, that's the pathway they use. We waited there for like half an hour, right, to see if Belle was going to come, because Belle was my favourite Disney princess. It's Kelly's favourite Disney princess. Belle was one we wanted to see. She's impossible to find, right?
Is that because she reads other books?
She's always... There's no libraries in Disneyland Paris. I don't know where it is. And so anyway, I was like, I want to see Belle. Literally, as you can see them walking up, Danny's like, I've wet myself. And I'm like, no. You know that Kevin Hart thing where he's like, no. That's exactly how I felt. And Kelly looked at me to say, I ain't missing out on Belle. So I was like, guess I'm taking Danny to the toilet to get him changed. I got him to the toilet, right? And he was so wet. You know, like, when he's wet himself so bad, like, you can feel that his skin has got that kind of, like, redness to it.
Clamminess.
Yeah, that kind of red clamminess.
When his shoes are soaking wet as well.
Oh, God. I just looked at him and say, why didn't you tell us, bro? Like, you could have told us. Like,
you're 28, for God's sake.
I just couldn't believe it. That's the one that sticks out the most, because he wet himself in the middle of Disney, but also it cost me waving at Belle. So there's my take.
Oh.
Adam,
on the sick note, there was always a time when obviously Connie goes in the back of the car, and it was my responsibility to take her to nursery, but also take the dog to daycare at the same time. So Connie's had a full breakfast, she's had crumpets and stuff, she's gone in the back of the car, no problem. So to take my dog to daycare, you have to go down this dirt track, and it's bumpy. So you're going down, the car's swinging from left to right, and her baby seat is rocking, but it's rocking quite aggressively.
couldn't you have just driven slower? Like
I
more safely?
I was driving slower, but it's the potholes in the dirt track, so it's like you're going down one and then you're bumping up. So like Connie's like swinging from one side to the other in her seat, where it's rocking, but she's laughing. And I thought, oh, she's all right. She's getting on like fine. Dropped the dog off, went back down the road, went on the straight level road after coming out, and she's heaved and she's threw up in the back of the car. But like it's like. Basically, like, gone everywhere in the back of the car. Luckily, I got leather seats, so it was easy to wipe down. But I had to take her to nursery, and she was covered in sick. But it wasn't just sick; it was like milk and crumpets.
Oh.
So I just like I wasn't bothered by it. I'm not as squeamish as you two guys, like you two guys. My wife, on the other hand, she will retch. Like for instance,
really?
if she's upstairs like cleaning sick up or poo out, all you was a from upstairs, like a very, very distant. Honestly, it cracks me up big time. But yeah, so then I had to take Connie to nursery, and because she'd thrown up, nursery refused her.
Yeah,
and I went, she's not ill, she's just thrown up her food. No, she's been sick, we can't take her. I'm like, No. She needs to go to nursery today. There's no date. There's no childcare. Like Kerry's gone to London. I've got to go to Chelmsford. She needs to go to nursery. So I managed to convince her to say, look, she's not ill. It's just car sickness. So yeah, but yeah, I was like, oh, thank God for that. But that was one of the experiences. But the thing is, she had such a happy face on her in the back, being rocked around and shook about and stuff. And then
it backfired.
Yeah, it backfired. So I learnt my lesson on that one. So I've learnt to take her to nursery first, leave the dog in the car whilst I can see him, and then drop the dog afterwards. So it's in that order now, rather than the other way around, to avoid the puke.
Yeah, no, I was going to talk to you about my story about poo and I.
Yeah, we can go on the poo now. Yeah,
you ready for this? So, what am I? 19, 20, and I started working, and I work with children, and I was working at this place, and I get called to go and support a child, and this child has special needs, and I remember running down trying to help with this child. And as I get to the door, I push the door open and I'm like, oh, what do you need? What help do you need? And then all I feel is across my chest. And this kid decided to take the feces from his trousers and literally throw them at me.
Oh,
and
no.
I literally had it right from one side of my chest right across the other side. I remember just standing looking at the woman going, what do I do? What do I do? I'm like literally fresh out of basically school and I remember just going like, what has just happened? And I remember turning around and like my manager was there and she was like, yeah, you can go home and get changed. I was like, thanks. I was like, what the, like, you just think, at that point in your life you go, I'm not meant to be here. I didn't know this was going to happen to me. But I still laugh about that today. It's crazy moments. But yeah, full proper poo, like
paintball guns.
Yeah, literally, and it was like, I mean, the room was a state, but
it reminds me of that scene of like Phoenix Nights, when Brian Potter's in the wheelchair and they're going paintball and he's just there, he's just taking it.
These were like proper lump, mate, and it was like. I just threw it all away, but it was bad, mate. It was. And like I say, I'm not squeamish. I'm not like poo sick, like blood. It doesn't bother me. But I just remember going, like, what? How have I got here? What is going on here, mate? Even the woman in the room was like, when you catch eyes or something, and like you don't know whether to like. I mean, we were laughing afterwards, but you just think. Even she was like, I can't believe what he's like. What just happened? But yeah. Yeah, good memories, good times.
I cannot top that story, so I'm not going to.
Oh, I could give you another one.
I'm quite happy. That is a fantastic story. I mean, you can share more. I have nothing to
go on,
that.
Just remind me.
You're on a roll.
Another child, and like I say, with this child needs to go to the toilet.
Is there any stories related to your child having a poo?
No, this is all working.
Okay.
So this, trying to get this child to the toilet. He decides to try and pull his pants down and again grab his poo. We're trying to hold him while trying to get him to the toilet, running to the toilet, trying to get him to the toilet. And he then decides to poo on the floor, and then someone is coming to try and support us and checking his poo. That was quite. That was 4 of us doing that. I mean, oh god, the things that I mean, that's
I have actually got a story about poo. Haven't I, Cal?
No, you haven't. Oh, no, we're not sharing that, are we?
Yeah.
No, we're not sharing that. No. That's one for a lot of drinks and no bikes.
That may be for a Christmas episode.
I have got a fantastic story about poo.
Yeah,
but I am not allowed to share it currently.
Ever.
So I will share it to you, Adam. But not right now.
Oh, fair. But if people do want to find that, please subscribe and rate us 5 stars.
Yes.
On Spotify, follow us on Twitter.
If we get 1 million followers, I might let him say the story.
Oh dear, that's a good story.
Well, you got any other poo stories?
No, I think I'm good.
Gavin and Stacey story that is. You know, like when they
that camping trip.
Yeah, listen, we get 1 million followers.
It wasn't that bad, was it?
It is up there, mate.
It is up there, yeah.
Well, does it involve tents?
No. No, Ted.
I'll tell you what, we will go global.
No.
I got one poo story of Connie. You know when they're young and obviously that their bodies are still adjusting to food and formula and stuff and proper milk. There was one time where we put her in a cot and you get the sleeping bags where it's just their arms are free but all their legs and everything's all covered, right? Yeah. So she had a bit of an upset stomach. She was crying and she had a poo explosion in her pajamas.
They call them a sleep suit or something.
Yeah.
Poonami?
It was a proper poonami, mate. It was proper poonami. Yeah, so basically she's crying, bless her, she's upset. And it's like, and parents know that you go through the stages of the rainbow, don't you?
Oh,
and
colours,
this was like, like I've seen
mustard colour.
It was like a magnolia wall colour, and I was amazed as to how white it all was. As Rob takes a drink,
settling in, mate.
And yeah, and obviously like you try and undo the sleeping bag, but then you undo the sleeping bag and it's just like it's all there. And bless her, I mean, like, she was only like 9 or 10 months or whatever, so we literally got her out of her sleeping bag and like literally hosed her down in the shower, got her all clean, put new clothes on and stuff. But then obviously, as I mentioned before about Kerry's gag reflex, behave yourself.
That's all the show, is it?
Oh, I saw the look. Don't give me all that for Kerry's trying to clear out. All you hear is a again.
No.
It's just, yeah.
Heard that.
No, I've never heard that. Only with poo and sick. And brush the teeth. Funny enough. Yeah.
To be fair, I can relate to that.
Yeah, that's a weird reflex. Sorry, Kerry.
She don't listen, mate.
She does.
Oh, does she?
Yeah.
Kerry, I had nothing to do with the last 2 minutes of recording.
Yeah, he
Nothing
did
to
look
do with
at me and threw me off.
Yeah.
He didn't swerve me. But yeah, so that was the other poo story. It's in a poonami in a sleeping bag. It's not as eventful as your paintball. How can we call that? Paint poo experience?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, even now I just think, how the hell did that even happen?
Can we have any poo related puns with paintball guns?
Yeah, send them in.
Yeah, I mean we love a pun on this podcast.
A Colt 45.
What?
A Colt Pooty 5.
What?
A Colt 45.
What?
And a Colt Pooty 5.
Did you say pooty again?
Good job it wasn't Vladimir Putin that shot you, eh?
Oh dear.
No, that's a bit better, isn't it?
That was better. That was pretty good. I'll let you know.
Yeah, so going on from shots fired to shots scored this week, let's talk about how Arsenal got on.
No.
Oh,
we're
going there, are we? Oh, so we're going from talking about shit to... Wait a minute.
Oh,
hold my beer.
Beer in my throat.
Hold my beer. To shit.
Let's all laugh at Man U. Let's all laugh at Man U. La 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 la. Hey!
La la la.
Hey! So this week in the Theatre of Dream becomes the House of Comedy. Eric Ten hugs an ensemble of bottoms who roar like quietest of mouses had their name cheered by the resurgent Tottenham. Unfortunately, it was 3-0. They got no identity, no idea, and no one lined up to sort out this mess. And they are currently losing to Porto 3-2. Things you love to see. It's just glorious.
I can confirm they are still losing to Porto. To Puto.
To Puto.
Oh, see?
Very good.
See?
Oh, mate. You know what your highlights for me? Yeah, you know, everyone was getting on to us about, not playing our football against Man City when we went 10 men down, and that it was bad tactics, and we should have gone out there to still try and win the game. And Roy Keane going on about, teams could still go and win games and do things when you go down to 10 men. Man United, went down to 10 men against Tottenham, who Arsenal obviously quite comfortably beat, in my opinion. I know they had their chances, or they had a few chances, but I still think we looked very, very comfortable. Who, and lost 3-0 against, and then we get judged and we get criticised when we went down to 10 men against the best, let's be honest, the best team in the world at the moment, club level, in the world at the moment, and still managed to get a draw when we played 60 minutes. And it just shows the level that Man United are at. And to lose someone against Tottenham and go 10 men down to, like, cheese and bread, they are in big trouble.
Cheese and bread.
They are in such big trouble. I mean, like, I thought
take that, cheese and bread.
I thought Arsenal were in trouble, and I know I sort of say to a lot of my Man United friends, don't worry, or do worry, but you're where we were 10, 15 years ago when we were scraping, and then when we're laughing at us, but you're a big club, one day you'll get back up there, maybe. Mate, I don't know if we ever reached. I mean, again, I suppose we did lose to 8-1 at one point, but cheese and bread, they are struggling.
Do you know what? The craziest part of it is, right? They've actually got some decent players, right?
Yeah.
But Arsenal, in their banter era, was still qualifying for the Champions League. I know there was a period where we wasn't.
You even got to Europa League Cup final, didn't you? Right?
Yeah, that was under Emery. Yeah. But like we were qualifying for Champions Leagues, and we had Sonogo up front. Remember Yaya?
Yeah.
Yaya Sonogo. We didn't have Toure. We had Yaya Sonogo. He was up front for us.
Senderos at the back.
Shamak.
Yeah,
Shamak.
Yeah.
I mean, Shamak, and even Eduardo was unlucky because he got injured. But like, we had some mind blowing lineups, really. And when you look at United have got some good players,
and
but spent so much money,
and they'll continue to spend money because they're just a machine, aren't they?
They are
commercially.
They are in such a bad position. And do you know what? I've got no sympathy for them. None. Not an iota of sympathy for them, because the amount of banter that I've had to put up with over the last 10 years particularly, couldn't care less.
You throwing shade at Adrian Dunn, especially for the Daily Arsenal, where he used to continuously banter the club, because
the thing is,
you've got to get your hit somehow, aren't you? Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That was the impressions back then.
And funny enough, how you mentioned earlier now that they've done an Arsenal dedicated show.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Even when Adrian Dunn was doing his bit, it was all about impressions, ringing in so that the show was relevant. And Arsenal fans, in my opinion, are the most passionate fans. You slag off an Arsenal team, you slag off an Arsenal player, a fan, they are going to call in, they're going to stake their claim. And TalkSport Drive, when Dunn was in charge of it, lived off the fact that Arsenal fans were calling in.
So how comes they're not doing a daily Man United then, on the same basis?
Well, because all the Man United fans live in London.
Yeah, fair enough.
They're not real like they're not like Arsenal fans, are they?
Yeah. But going on to like the result with Tottenham, did you think Bruno Fernandes's red card was justified?
No, and I'm really happy that it's been overturned.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was probably one of the worst decisions. That probably turned the game in Tottenham's favour.
I mean, Tottenham are already looking pretty good though.
Yeah, but I think it looked easier when you're playing against 10 men and a team in a dysfunctional team anyway.
Unless you're Man City, it's really hard to play against 10 men.
Also, they're a dysfunctional team anyway. With 11, so to do it against 10, it's even easier job for Spurs, isn't it? But
they are in dire straits, aren't they? They are in big trouble.
So have you finished laughing at Man United?
Yeah, I've finished.
Well,
laughing at Man United.
Did anyone, one of us bet that it would be Ten Hag getting the sack first?
No,
I don't think we did.
I think I said they'd finish 5th.
I said I think they'd win the league.
Yeah, I know. But after watching your fantasy football team, mate, I am not listening to any of your football takes ever again.
Do you think there's any right that people saying that he's going to get a tin tack after the next 2 games? That's what everyone's throwing out there. Do you think there's any?
I think there is substance to it, and I think they've already got his replacement lined up in Van Nistelrooy. Because why would you have 2 assistants?
I actually think there is a longer term plan as well, or I think there could be.
Southgate?
No, I don't think it'll be Southgate either. I think it could be Emery. That's the one I think it could be.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Do you think it'd leave Aston Villa though? you think you'd leave Aston Villa? So
Money.
yeah, but Aston Villa are probably on par with them, aren't they?
Yeah, but it's Man United, isn't it?
They're a big club, Villa, aren't they?
They are a big club, but they're not Man United. And so I'm not saying that to kind of like.
That's a fantastic shot. I didn't think of that. That
I
would
can't
be.
see it. I can't see it.
So this is the reason why. First of all, he's rebuilt his reputation at Aston Villa. I don't think it would be during the season. I think it was going to happen. It would happen at the end of the season. He's rebuilt his reputation. He's got fantastic European pedigree.
Pedigree as well.
And he can build a team. He can reshape a team. And I know that he didn't get as long as he should have done at Arsenal. But I think we are also talking about the same Emery that offered to buy Zaha by giving Saka as well. So I think there is that as well for Arsenal fans when it comes to Emery. But he does have fantastic. I only wished him well when he left. I felt bad for him actually. But he's not going to go to City, not while Pep's there. Slot's only just started his project. Arteta is well on his way. He's not going to go Tottenham, is he? Like, he might as well stay at Villa because they are a bigger team than Tottenham. But Man United, they're going to be looking for a manager. And he is up there. Even if there are other managers available, he is up there as one of the very best. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer come out recently and said he would take the job again, didn't he, in a heartbeat?
Yeah, but of course you would.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah.
No, that won't happen.
Yeah. Be interesting. I do think Ten Hag's time is probably coming to an end.
Mm-hmm.
But they've bought so many Ajax-based players under his realm. It'll be mental to disrupt that entire team with the coach that got them success in Holland anyway.
The team's already disrupted.
Yeah, but the Dutch league is completely different to the Premier League.
Well, you could say that about Arne Slot, though, couldn't you? Because Arne Slot's come in, he didn't buy any players.
Yeah, but there's your argument, though, isn't it? Like, he's bought the whole Ajax team. Arne Slot hasn't bought anyone.
He's just carried on the reign, isn't he?
Yeah, I suppose. So, do you want to talk about Arsenal and how you boys got on?
Yeah, so if you happy to talk about Arsenal?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, cool. Can we start?
Yeah, go on, Rob, you start. Well, go on, you start.
It was a great game, wasn't it? It was a fantastic game in the sense that I don't like playing Leicester. I don't like
Jamie Vardy. He's always been a bit of a thorn in our side, hasn't he?
Yeah, and Jamie Vardy still looked good. Like, he's still outpacing defenders who are like literally 10, 15 years younger than him. What he did to Gahey against Crystal Palace was madness. Like, he outpaced Gahey, and Gahey's like England's number one central defender. And
also, he's always going to have that thing with the Arsenal fans because he, so-called pied us off to stay at.
Yeah.
But then I think he just used us as a leverage to get more money. I think he's always liked it that, up in Leicester, and he's always comfortable. But good luck to him. Yeah.
So I watched it back on Match of the Day, and Arsenal were off the scales. Like, they were off the scales good, so good, and I actually think 4-2 flattered Leicester.
Yeah.
They got a
Did you have over 40 shots or something, or attempts or something?
I've got the numbers on that. I'll tell you in a minute. But they got a deflected goal, and they scored a worldie. Neither one you can really account for, because
hands up and go.
Sometimes someone scores a worldie,
and
sometimes you get a deflection. It just so happened that Arsenal got 2 in one game,
yeah.
And so the score was 4-2, and like I said, I think it flattered Leicester actually to score, because it could have been 5. And just to back that up, Saka is an absolute menace, right? He's been a menace all season, but he bullied Leicester. He had 8 take-ons, and he created 8+ chances. And this is the first time it's been done in the Premier League by any player in over a decade. Right,
Who's the last player?
I have no idea who the last player is. As soon as I saw that, I was like, that is an interesting statistic, so I wrote it down. Fantastic. But he is the first player to do that in a decade. And he actually didn't get credit for a goal that he helped create, because he put the ball over the top for Trossard's deflected goal, and he didn't get the credit for the assist on that. which is why originally on FPL he was awarded with 3 bonus points because he was so good and he created so many chances. But because they didn't directly contribute as far as FPL was concerned to anything, it got reduced down to 1 bonus point, I think. But other than that, he was an absolute menace. And to come back to your point, Cal, Arsenal had 36 shots. 16 were on target, and they had 76 touches in Leicester's box. By comparison, Leicester had 5 shots, 3 were on target, and they had 11 touches in Arsenal's box in 90 plus 97 minutes, right? Yeah. But here's the XG stuff. This is what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Arsenal had a 4.99 XG. They should have scored 5, right, as far as the XG goes, right? Leicester, they had 2 goals. 0.27 XG. Like, you can't account for a worldie and a deflected shot.
Yeah, so you just got all your hands up sometimes, yeah.
I mean, if anything, it was a deflected kind of like pinball machine that got Man City their second goal. A lot of Arsenal's goals that they've conceded this season have come from situations like this. Pinball machines in the middle of the box. Unfortunate things that have happened. Even the goal that Brighton drew level with was a mismatch of a ball bouncing off Gabriel's legs into Pedro's pathway. So, like, a lot of the goals that Arsenal have scored have been fortunate for the other team. I just think it says so much.
I think we're a machine at the moment. I genuinely think with our back 5, yeah, and obviously Partey in the middle at the moment, we're playing with such force and structure, like going forward and defensively. You know, it's just incredible to watch. Like, I can't be more proud. And now, even going into like Champions League against Paris, I think we absolutely bossed them. And I think second half we took our foot off the gas. I don't think the substitutions helped us, but I understand why Arteta did it to get people game time and match time and rest people. And I think that's why it sort of drew them back in. But our press in that first half just was ridiculously impressive. And to be fair, Paris did manage to play out to an extent. But again, it broke down within our midfield. Partey was picking up, or our fullbacks were then picking up, and it's just exceptional to watch. I mean, it's such an exciting time. It is like ridiculously exciting.
But even Partey's having a bit of a resurgence.
Yeah, massive. I can't speak more highly of him, especially in that PSG game. I thought it was one of our best games that I've seen him play. But also, I just think in that first half, I was saying to Dad, I think I texted Dad and said, this is probably the best time I've ever seen Arsenal play. Like, the whole structure, the back foot. Like, I was watching it going, I can't see him scoring. Like, we're going to win this easy. Like, normally in the Champions League game, you sort of go, big teams, it can go either way. Or like, we would go away to teams, and you go, like someone like a Porto, or a Prague team or something, and go, we're going to lose. We don't like going close. Yeah, and it's just like levels above. It's incredible.
Sorry to interrupt. You just spoke about Porto just then, and do you want to laugh at Manu a bit more?
Yeah, I do.
Go on, please.
So, when Bruno Fernandes got sent off for the first time in his career against Spurs,
yeah,
he's just been sent off against Porto.
You are having a giraffe.
Back-to-back red cards in games for Bruno Fernandes for the first time ever in his career. Not only has he picked up one, they're like buses, he's picked up another one as well.
And he's their captain.
What they said is it for a dangerous tackle?
It was 2 yellows. 2 yellows.
Okay.
2 yellows, yeah.
Right.
So, sorry to interrupt.
It
was just it just popped out. The comments online at the moment are they've gone into meltdown. Ten Hag is gone. All the fans are basically saying him out. They want the 3 people that they want is Tuchel, Inzaghi, or Potter.
Emery.
Not Emery. And one of the stats that was just highlighted by Terry Flewers from the Football Terrace, 24 times Manchester United have conceded 3 or more goals under Ten Hag, more than any other Premier League team in the period.
Do you know what we need to do a chat on? We always keep highlighting it. We go back to it about our banter seasons or our banter times, we actually seriously need to do a talk about, is Man United's period what they're going through at the moment worse than when Arsenal? I think we actually need to have a proper good talk about that.
Well, the international break's coming up, so we could probably talk about it then, because we're not going to be able to talk about any Premier League football.
Yeah.
But coming back to the Premier League football, I wanted to ask you about this, Cal. And Adam, you watch enough football to be able to jump in on this as well. This is what Saka said after the 2-0 win over PSG. Now, I have paraphrased this, but this is basically what he said. Each game has a context, so our strategy changes for that. But then it got me to thinking about how each half almost has a context. So Leicester, for example, we basically played the high press and was total domination. That was the game plan. But then when you look at Man City, we had the mid block in the first half, and then we played like low behind the lines block in the second half. But then even in the first half against PSG, we played the high press, and then we played the mid to low block in the second half.
Yeah.
And I just think I love watching football when it looks like chess.
Yeah.
And like,
what, black and white?
Yeah, fine, if that's what you mean. Like, if it helps you visualize it. But you know, when you can see, like, when I watch Arteta's team, right? When I watch Arteta's Arsenal, it looks like he's playing chess and everyone else is still working out drafts. That's how I feel like sometimes when I watch Arsenal play.
It's a great analogy.
Because I just don't think, like, even Luis Enrique came out after and said, I did not know what to do. Like, he scored me. This is on me. I didn't get my team prepared properly. I had no idea what I was walking into. And Arteta did a number on him.
But this is it. Arteta is an absolute beast. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, Man United just equalised.
Are they?
Yeah, Harry Maguire, injury time.
Oh, look, it's just ruined my whole speech about going 10 men down.
Sorry.
I mean,
salvaged by Slabbed.
how many minutes left?
Oh, it's in injury time.
He's fair play to him. He might save his job. Might be laughing about Man United much longer.
Yeah, that goal might have just saved his job. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows the level of Arteta, in my opinion. I just think he is an absolute genius. And he has now taken Arsenal, where we have been known as that sort of, or previously known as sort of that weak, fantastic football inside and lovely going forward but can't defend. And we can do the nasty, we can get nasty. We can do that defensive, stance. But we can also express ourselves and show how what the football that everyone loves to watch, and we can also do it. And he has really taken the team to be able to do all aspects of football. And you're right with what you say. You're watching it and going, it is a master. He sort of just knows how to read the game and knows when to switch things up and how to introduce structure within the game to get it over the line. And I think that is it. I think it is. He will get it over the line.
I just want to challenge you on that as well. Yeah. You talked about all aspects of football.
Yeah.
At Ajax, they have something when they train their kids, and it's called total football. Yeah. So they don't really do positions.
Yeah, and Cruyff.
So they still do it. They still do it at Ajax. It's called total football, and Timber obviously comes through that school of thought, where athletes play football, and the positioning and all that kind of stuff comes later, right? So this got me thinking about the Arsenal team and total football, and they just play football. So, for example, like if I was to give you Havertz, what's Havertz's best position?
Well, I'll tell you what, after watching him against Man City, I would say put him in the middle.
This is what I'm trying to say.
I know what you're trying to say. No, I mean, this is it. But you want players who do your job. But
Cal, not just Havertz. What's Trossard's best position? What's Calafiori's best position? What's Timber's best position? What's Jesus' best position? Even, and maybe to a lesser extent, but what's Rice's best position? These guys can play where they need to play. And it's just mind-blowing to me that we've got these players who could literally go anywhere. Like, Calafiori has been playing left back. He finished the game at right back. And Timber was playing left back, and he started playing right back. Where does Benny Blanco play now?
Is that a Spanish footballing philosophy? Because I witnessed the same sort of thing under Lopetegui this weekend as well. I'm just saying in general. I'll go on to
or is that just how the game's going? I mean, if you think about it, if you want to play that expressive sort of football, and you have people moving and not this whole not set position, so you have that sort of rotation up top. You need to be able to get players in that can then, when you're on a defensive run, like you may need a striker that just so happens to find himself in a free position where actually it's broken down. I now need to defend, and you're now teaching players to go, right, you need to do a job. I need you to fill in that right back. So in fact, you're actually, as Rob just said, it's total football and not. I think in English football, you're right. Oh, you're a goalkeeper. And you go off and do the goalkeeping, for instance. That was my early career was, you're a goalkeeper. Go off with the goalkeeping coach. We'll see you in 2 hours' time. You go and we do a bit of shooting, and then we do a match play. And then towards the end of my career, it was like, well, actually, you're joining in with keep ball. So put your gloves down. You're joining this team, and you start passing me the ball. And then it was like, well, actually, you need to now learn what the defender's doing because you're behind the defenders and you're playing, so you need to know what position they need to be in so that you can pick up your shape of them. And I think it's evolved from that, and it does come from Dutch football and Spanish football, South American football maybe even as well. But it is about if you have a player that can fit in and do a job anywhere, as soon as your team breaks down, you can create a shape because they know how to structure their team or how to get into shape, and then if you get in that shape quick enough, you can slowly players fall back in and then pick up their normal roles. But you're in a shape to, again, affect the game. So that you can get into defensive shape to then try and win the ball back and then you're back on the offensive. And I think Arsenal this season are massively doing that. And I think that's where our success is coming from, as Rob says. You've got players who are being put in positions or find themselves in positions and being able to do a job where previously it'd be like, oh my god, he's gone up there and he's stuck up there now and here we go and we're 2-0 down.
It's like even against PSG, Calafiori found himself in Odegaard's position, was laying off balls to Saka. Ironically, the only two players that I wouldn't say had better positions were, aside from Raya, would be Gabriel and Saliba, and it's almost like that triangle never changes.
No, yeah.
But anyone else could be doing anything else at any given time. And like I said, I love watching. Arsenal have never been like that. They've never been chess. They've always been very wonderful to watch and entertaining. But you've never seen this kind of like, remember that war game Risk type of strategy where it's kind of like, we're going to do this and this is how we're going to beat you. But we can beat you in 5 different ways and you won't even know which one's coming. And I love watching that. And people talk about success and stuff, and of course I want Arsenal to win trophies. But I could watch that and feel like that is successful football. I feel successful being a fan of this form of football.
100%. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I 100% agree. And I think, and what's more exciting is the players are like the passion and like the players are buying into it. You can see it. I mean, I'm not being funny. How many clubs have songs sang about defenders? Saliba, Gabriel, I mean, even Raya, they all have their own songs because the fans see the benefit that they're having for the rest of their team. As you say, that triangle, I'd hate to think of it, but if we ever, one day we will lose it, but like if we lost them, you talk about injury worries, then talking about Odegaard or, people getting, if one of them gets injured, I think we're in trouble. You talk about Rodri for Man City, the difference that he's going to make, and I do think that generally he's going to make a difference. And I think, even with John Stones going there potentially, or whatever they are going to do, that's going to have an impact. One of them three getting injured, like when Ray was doubtful, I was thinking, we are in trouble now. We ain't got a Ramsdale anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like, but Gabriel or Saliba getting injured, it is worrying because they are absolute warriors at the back. And do you know, they talk about Saliba going to Real Madrid and these big. I'm not going to lie to you. I think Gabriel is outshining this year. I think he is fantastic.
I'm loving Gabriel this year as well. Actually, Anthony Rudiger got asked who he thought the 3 best defenders in the world currently. He started off with Saliba, then he said Virgil van Dijk, and then he said Gabriel.
See,
and that's Anthony Rudiger at Real Madrid.
Well, I think he's been kind with Van Dijk. Listen, what's he done this year? I'm sorry. What did he do last year? I think he had a horrendous end of the year last year. I'm sorry. Like, don't get me wrong. I know he's a fantastic player and he completely changed Liverpool. And I think, to be fair, they built their team on him. You know, they talk about Salah on that, but for me, he was the starting point for that, for their success at Liverpool. But I would still go Saliba, Gabriel, and then maybe Van Dijk. But
they've just been remarkable, and then I think the inclusions of Calafiori and Timber again have just made a wonderful defence. But
can I just say, I'm almost more excited sometimes watching Arsenal defend than actually going forward, just to see what Gabriel's going to do and his celebrations. Like when he makes a tackle, or he makes a last ditch block or something. Him getting up, it's more excitement than when we score sometimes. Like some of the tackles he did against PSG or even Man City. I know we was away from home, but I was getting up like it was a goal. Like he gives me more excitement at the moment. I don't know. It's maybe because I know what it's like being a goalkeeper and having someone like that, a warrior in front of you. Like I had a bloke called Francis that played in front of me. Unfortunately, didn't go on to. He should have done, but didn't go on to play. Football, unfortunately, because of knee injuries. But it was like a completely different game when he played in front of me, and he was just the same sort of bloke, like absolute warrior, and it makes such a big difference. And I just love watching it. Like Gabriel and Saliba in front is just exciting.
I think Arsenal are probably the best off the ball team in the world right now. But when they are playing without the ball, they just usher teams where they want them to go. And they even did it against Man City when they were playing with 10 men. They just showed them where to go over there, bring the ball back across. And it was like Man City would try to play rugby. All they could do was go from side to side. And they made Man City play that way. And they are making teams play the way they want those teams to play. They made PSG play the way they did in the second half. They put in the low to mid block. Let's PSG do their thing, and they just took the ball off them when they made mistakes, and it was incredible to watch. But that's Arsenal. Probably need to talk about West Ham, mate, don't we?
Yeah, so I could literally keep going. I've got so much more I want to say. Yeah, let's talk about West Ham.
I actually don't think it was a bad result. I mean, there's a lot of punditry out there and a lot of fans kicking up a stink about Lopetegui and stuff like that. But I think when you look last year, even like the first 6 games, really, I think the results have kind of, some of them have been expected and some of them we have improved on. Like, you look at the Crystal Palace fixture, we lost 5-2 to them last year. We beat them 2-0 in our own backyard this year. Brentford, we lost 3-2. We drew 1-1 on this one. Fulham, last year, we lost 5-0. We drew 1-1 with them. And I think we've actually been, like Aston Villa, you expect to lose against the Champions League team. Man City, Chelsea, same thing. You expect, like for me, when I look at the season, I'm predicting 12 losses straight away. So it's just standard. But I thought actually, despite a rocky minute, because Brentford have been the first Premier League team to score under a minute in three consecutive games. So it's always hard to try and get a result when you're 1-0 down as soon as the game started. But I think we actually played relatively well, especially in the second half, making significant changes, which has caused controversy behind the scenes.
I was going to ask you about that.
I was going to ask you. Oh, yeah. So basically, in the first half, we weren't really playing the free-flowing football that we expected, but we were still putting pressure on, getting ourselves into space and creating chances, but not taking those chances. And one of the victims of that was Kudus. So Kudus and Emerson were both hooked at half-time, and rightly so, because I think they've been underperforming for quite some time now, both of them. And patience has been lost. Lopetegui gave them every sort of opportunity to do well, and something just clicked, and it was like, no, not suffering it no more. I want the team to be playing as a team. I don't want individuals. It's not saying that Kudus is an individual type of player, but the way he was playing it's understandable why he done that change so we could get a result out of it. But when you're talking about what's Aaron Wan-Bissaka's best position, what would you tell me his best position is?
I would play him as part of a 3 as the right centre back.
Oh right, that's completely against what I was going to go for.
No, I'm just on the wind up. I'd play him as a defensive fullback.
Yeah, so right back, right?
Yeah.
So he's probably one of the best right backs.
Right. So if I said to you at half time,
or defensive players, yeah.
At half time, Kudus and Emerson come off, and Mavropanos and I don't know if he could come on for him now. My mind's gone blank. I can't remember who's come on. But there was a defensive change where we went 3 at the back, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka played left wing back. So he played left wing back. He only played left back to cover Emerson in the cup a couple of times, but he literally played left wing back, and I was like, "That's strange. Why would you playing right wing back, wouldn't you?"
Did it allow him to cut in on his good foot? Is that what he was thinking?
I don't know, but in terms of the versatility side of it, Aaron Wan-Bissaka can play all across the back line.
Yeah,
and even push up into an attacking position. So, but Mavropanos, he come on and he completely changed our back line. But he operated as a right centre back. But then, as we scored the goal to go level, we opted back into a back 4. So Wan-Bissaka went left back and Mavropanos went right back. So it was like, well, where's that come from? But then obviously after the game, you looked at Mavropanos' his performances for Stuttgart, who we bought him off, played right back. So it's like, what? So why aren't we playing him right back on a regular basis? Why is he playing centre back? So I can see that. For me personally, I think West Ham's best formation is 3 at the back, 4 in midfield, and 3 up front, just based on the players that we've got. And it proved right. I mean, we played a lot better, we were more clinical, more of a threat. But we went negative towards the end of the game by playing 4 at the back, and for me, I just think that's just not our best lineup. But I'll take the point, respect the point, move on to the next game. And
do you think that was more of Lopetegui thinking, do you know what, a point away at Brentford is decent?
It's an improvement to last year's fixture, absolutely. I mean, we went 2-1 up and lost the game 3-2 through funny enough, a Mavropanos mistake. But when you think of the performance he had last year to this year, I think it's a vast improvement. I think in general, there's been calls for. We spoke about this before, that Lopetegui head is on the line at the minute after 6 game weeks. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's just manufactured rumours that from sources that are not credible. I think you got to give Lopetegui the time to make the changes. But part of me feels he's still on a short-term contract, so it wouldn't surprise me if a change did happen, which I said before. But I think you just got to give him time and trust the sort of the squad building process and him getting the best out of those players.
To be fair, it's nice to see you being a bit more positive this week, because last year you were like a vacuum. You sucked the joy of it.
Oh mate, you know what? Losing to Chelsea 3-0 at home is never going to be positive. Especially because I don't want to go into it, but losing to a rival in your own backyard, and we haven't won a game at home yet, which is quite frustrating.
Yeah.
But we're unbeaten away, so there's pros and cons to it. But I think people are making it out online to be a lot worse than what it is. I mean, I've seen
negativity sales, mate. That's the trouble.
Yeah, the thing is, negativity sales, but people calling for David Moyes to come back. I mean,
are you having a giraffe?
Mate, guys, fuck off. I'm not being funny. Give me J-Lo ball over Moyes ball every day of the week, because it's more entertaining to watch. It's more enjoyable to watch. Yeah, we didn't beat Brentford. Not many teams are beating Brentford. But
also some of your star players, like you say about Kudus, they're not performing yet. So,
no, they're not. They're adapting. But like I said to you before the transfer window ended, I had a feeling he was going to go.
Yeah.
And I still think he's going to go. And I still think there's still in the back of his head, he don't want to be playing at the club. And I'm not going to speculate on that too much because I think it could still be bullshit. But I want players playing for the club, and at the minute, he doesn't look like he wants to play for us.
Or do you think it's a confidence thing? I was literally about to ask you. Do you think it's just a confidence thing that he hasn't had a run, or?
I will play devil's advocate on that because I'm not sure it's a confidence thing, and I think Adam, you might be onto something. And the only reason I'm sort of throwing that one out there is because he was at the Arsenal game against PSG.
Was he?
Yeah, he was.
Well, there you go.
And there's
was he wearing an Arsenal shirt?
he's wearing that new range that's just come
Well,
out.
the thing is, he's friends with Partey, isn't he? So you could look at it and say that the Ghanaians are repping each other on that.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
But
he was at the Arsenal game, and the only reason I'm bringing that up is because you said a few weeks back when the transfer window was still open that you thought he was going to go to Arsenal.
I still think he'll go in the summer anyway. Personally,
Not at Christmas.
No, I can't see it. I can't see us.
He had just
selling
bought a
him.
house in North London as well.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been trying out all the Ghanaian calves up in North London because he likes.
Better for Emirates.
Yeah. Yeah. You just change your sleeve sponsorship from Visit Rwanda to Visit Ghana now. So, but yeah, the thing is, like, you've gone from star boy to star man, and you want another star boy, don't you? So it makes sense.
He is a star man now, isn't he? He's a captain man as well now.
Yeah,
he's been captaining.
Oh mate, what an honour! Like, I know, like,
I don't.
I think that's so cool.
Yeah, I don't want to go back to Arsenal too much, but like, it is wonderful to see a How End boy be the captain.
Well, yeah. How do you think we felt when Rice took the armband?
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing, and then.
Why are you a Chelsea boy?
Oh, well, the same Chelsea that got rid of him because they didn't think he was good enough.
Don't get upset, mate.
I'm just saying.
Angry for. Rice, come here.
Rice could have went to Fulham, mate. What? It was West Ham or Fulham, and he chose West Ham, so he chose us more than us choosing him. To be fair,
and I'm happy for him that he went to West Ham. I genuinely am because I don't think he would have progressed. West Ham had not so much that, but I think West Ham have an excellent record and history when it comes to developing talent.
Oh, yeah,
sadly, that talent never stays around. Rarely does.
Yeah,
not all of them are Mark Noble, but he made the right choice for his career.
Oh, I can't. Yeah, you get one career, you got to give it a go, haven't you? I was
talking about West Ham, and I wasn't talking about Arsenal. I mean, like coming through.
Don't forget Alden.
No, that's not. I wasn't talking.
A trophy to West Ham.
Mate, he's only one of 3 captains to ever win silverware in Claret and Blue. Bobby Moore, Billy Bonds. Bobby Moore, Billy Bonds, Declan Rice.
No, but he's
immortal, mate.
Yeah, but that's what.
Sadly, those fans will get the ump about it, but you can't lie with facts. He's one of 3 captains that's won silverware. When he retires, it wouldn't surprise me if he got a statue over at Stratford. Because, and I also don't think his time isn't finished at West Ham. I think when he's finished at Arsenal, he'll come back in his 30s.
If that is the case, and he does stay to Arsenal into his 30s, and then
but he's a legacy player. He was always
that would be magical.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be magical, wouldn't it? But yeah,
that's what I was trying to say. So just to backtrack a little bit, what I was trying to say is I think he made the right choice for his career by going to West Ham to develop. And you're right. I think it's wonderful that he is one of 3 to win a significant trophy for West Ham. I do think I thought it was a little bit unkind to miss him out of the announcement video for Bowen becoming captain. I thought that was a little bit petty by West Ham. Do you remember the video? We spoke about it before. Yeah. I thought that was unnecessary, and I do think that in terms of, like you said, for the progression of his career at that time, it was the right choice for him to go to Arsenal. The only thing I would say is, like, if he does come back to West Ham, you want him, and eventually he will leave Arsenal. Hopefully he doesn't leave Arsenal for a very long time.
It's 10 years.
But if he does go back to West Ham, hopefully it isn't a bit like and this is for West Ham fans more than anything. Not so much that. I just hope they're not, like when Wayne Rooney went back to Everton and it just kind of fizzled out very quickly. It would be a shame. I'd rather him retire at Arsenal, a great footballer, than go back to West Ham for a swan song, and it's what Wayne Rooney did.
Joe Cole done it with us, didn't he? He come back and he performed okay, but then we ended up getting rid of him to go to Aston Villa, and then shortly after Aston Villa, we went to Coventry City and then Tampa Bay. But
The thing is,
in terms of fizzling
but also
out.
as West Ham, you want to come away from that. Like you're trying to build and
true.
fight. And you don't
think,
want that anymore. Like it sounds lovely, and don't get me wrong. If it's the same as like if
I'd have Henry at the club now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean it was lovely that he come back and scored that goal against Leeds, but that's all we did. And when you go back on, that's all we did do. No, I mean, don't get me wrong, it is magical, and I still watch the moment every day. And when he talks about coming back as a fan, and he played as a fan, and he scored as a fan, and it is magical. But you want to come away from that now, where you're going, well, actually, we want to go and compete. We don't want to bring these players back. We want to get players in that want to stay, that want to take us to the next level. You're moving away from that. I think that the manager that you've brought in and the players that you brought in the summer are the foundations. You talk about raising the floor. It's one of the things that we love to talk about on this podcast, is that actually that's what you're trying to do. And I think this is the stepping stone to get the better players in to fight on next year. Really, I'm thinking a year after to go push the top 6.
Yeah.
Even though I said you'd get top 6 this year, but
I said Champions League this year, but then I also said Lopetegui would get sacked. So it was first sacking. So that was an insurance policy. But yeah, I think as I say, a lot more positive. But I think the season's a grower for me. If I'm honest, I can't really determine where our club is at until after the last international break, because you got an October international break, they come back and play 3-4 fixtures, and they've got the November international break. And then from that, it just kills momentum. Like we're all saying, oh yeah, we'll have a better season because Kudus isn't over to AFCON. All our African players ain't playing AFCON. There's no competitive football this winter or in the summer. So it's annoying that the international break has come around just shortly after a very busy summer. It is what it is, isn't it? Can't mumble about it. Just got to get on with it. But I think after probably around about this first week in December, I'll probably get a good indication as to where we are as a club. I think it's too early yet.
Also, can I just say, it's coming to the point, and I know you're a different squad now, but we're coming to that point in the season where it's crap weather, it's cold. Historically,
you've got the heating on.
Yeah,
I noticed that.
But historically, certain players don't like to play or find it difficult to play in certain elements, if you like. Is this when West Ham turn it on, because you have still got that sort of core of hardcore players there, where actually this is where you push on.
Yeah.
I like to think the game's come away from that. But let's be honest, playing on certain pitches, boggy pitches, is going to sort of benefit certain teams.
Yeah.
More so than others.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree.
Potentially.
I agree. Well, hopefully the change of fortune starts this weekend when we've got Ipswich at home. Although they've been playing pretty well, haven't they, Ipswich? And I can't really. What you say? What are you predicting? You're predicting us to lose, aren't you?
I have. I'm so sorry. I really have. I have.
You're a troll.
You've
been saying all these good things about West Ham.
No,
you're going to lose.
Do you know why? So
Sammy Smodix will score.
I really.
Calvin Phillips will score.
I don't think they will. I did think about this because I thought West Ham have got this one, and I was like, Ipswich were really good at the weekend, and West Ham were okay at the weekend, but Ipswich were really good at the weekend.
Ipswich were really good and got a point. We were okay and got a point.
Yeah, that's true.
And Ipswich played the same sort of opposition as what they did all season last year.
But I also think Ipswich are at home. I think they are hitting their best form of the season so far, and they will be. They will be looking at this game as a game that they think they could win.
Oh yeah,
and so I think that's the difference.
West Ham are the duck team. If you've got a striker that hasn't scored for 12 months, like Kanu at Arsenal, like he's going to get a brace. So it always happens. It's always West Ham. It's the West Ham way. Teams see an opportunity against us and they take it, and we let them have it. And West Ham fans listening now will completely agree with that, because they know. Like, for instance, you just know Duran, who we've been linked with all summer, had a £40 million bid accepted, then rejected, and then he's doing cross irons on his Instagram, scores in every game. When we need a striker,
it's just unreal this season.
Yeah. But like, it's just typical West Ham way. Things like that happen. So it wouldn't surprise me if Calvin Phillips did score against us at the weekend, because I can just put your ass on it.
I have predicted that it will be a 0-2 victory. No, are you at home?
Yeah, we're at home. Yeah.
All right, okay. I predicted that. So I got that wrong earlier. Then I thought Ipswich were at home. I have predicted that Ipswich would win 2-0.
Wow.
And I think that Delap and Davis might have something.
Leif Davis.
Yeah.
Leif Davis again and Harry Clark, who we've both been linked with. They're a good squad, but I think their goalkeeper is shocking.
So,
I mean, I've never seen a worse goalkeeper in the Premier League ever, other than Roberto for West Ham. But this guy, Harry's a professional footballer. I don't know.
Well,
clean sheet awaits.
Clean sheet for Ipswich at the weekend. I haven't predicted that one to wind you up. I just think that they were so good at the weekend, and like I said, West Ham have been okay, but Ipswich have looked the best they've looked this year.
Yeah.
And I think that, do you know what? That Delap is pretty clinical, isn't he?
I like Delap a lot.
He's ex-Man City as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Is he Rory Delap's son?
Yes, he is.
Great throw. Is he the guy with the great throw? Rory Delap? Yeah. But I think he is a those two finishes he had.
Yeah,
if he cuts in and
he's quality, mate.
If he cuts in and puts one through on his left, I think West Ham will be in trouble.
He's in the
Ariola.
Ariola, mate.
I wouldn't be surprised if you start Fabianski.
Yeah.
He has been poor. So I really think that Delap might have a good go.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me again. I mean, Delap is part of the successful under-21 team that won the Euros. That featured Cole Palmer, Morgan Gibbs-White, Curtis Jones. Smith Rowe, yeah. Smith Rowe's on the bench, right? So it wouldn't surprise me. And again, McKenna's an excellent coach, and he understands and highlights good talent, or identifies good talent when he sees it. And Liam Delap, he was at, I can't remember where he was last season. Preston, I think.
Who was from Blackburn then?
Sammy Smodic.
That's right. Okay.
He's a West Ham fan as well. He's admitted that in the summer. Okay. Funny enough, his sister owns a baby shop in Old Colne, or White Colne.
What's his name?
Smodics.
Oh, Smodics. I was thinking someone else.
Because he used to play for Peterborough, or he was at Colchester, then Peterborough, then he went to Blackburn, then Ipswich. Yeah, but his sister runs a baby shop in not far from here, Old Colne.
Oh, okay.
So for my prediction, I think we'll narrowly win 1-0. I think it's probably, again, it's getting that win at home is probably the most important. I don't care how, usually you'd think against a promoted team you'd expect to spank them, but I think the most important thing is the overall result rather than the performance.
Well, we were both right last week. We both predicted a 1-1 draw with Brentford, so it'll be interesting to see which one of us, if we are right, which one of us.
We should do Super 6, well, we're doing that. Cal, what's your thoughts?
I think it's going to be a 1-0, but I mean, I was thinking West Ham, but it could go either way. But I think it will be a 1-0 result for either team.
It's almost got scrappy winning goal written all over it, hasn't it?
90th minute, on the break, like Adam Traore for Wolves.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
I'm going to throw it out there because I think last time we made a prediction and it was West Ham, I think it was Fulham, and we said it's going to be the game of the week. It's going to be about 27 goals each or something. And, West Ham would nick the result or something like that. And I'm going to say it's going to be the worst game of the weekend. And it's going to be really, really boring.
So we're
going to be absolutely pissing down with rain.
We're expecting a 4-4 draw now.
And it's going to be a 1-0 win to one of them. To one of the sides. And it'd be like a 6-0 fashion or so.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I am sorry, Adam. I wasn't trying to wind you up.
No, you
genuinely think. Mate, do you know if it's going to happen, it will happen against West Ham. So that's why I'm going to call it there.
Of course it will.
Yeah. that's my only thoughts.
So who have Arsenal got on the weekend?
We've got the Aaron Ramsdale derby this weekend, haven't we?
Homecoming.
He's keeping a clean sheet.
Do you know what? I thought about this, Adam, because every Arsenal fan loves Aaron Ramsdale. Every Arsenal fan have wished him well, and there's a lot of Arsenal fans who have had to eat humble pie over Aaron Ramsdale because they did not see, or they hadn't given Arteta enough trust to go, if he's choosing Raya, I want Raya. And that's kind of where I was in September last year. I was kind of like, bit weird, but if that's what Arteta wants, then I'll back it. So I think it's going to be an interesting game. Our last 3 games against Southampton have all ended in draws.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And the most recent one was the 3-3 draw,
yeah, 3-3,
where Walcott scored against us and basically put an end to the Premier League dream that year for us. But I think this game is going to go 2 ways. It's either going to be a Ramsdale masterclass or we're going to batter them. And the reason why I think I'm leaning more towards us beating them and beating them comfortably is because of the Arteta decision in September. He chose Raya as his man because of the mentality and the focus. Ramsdale is not known for those things. He's even admitted to those things in an interview with Ian Wright. I think he's going to be very determined to prove himself, but I also think he's going to be very emotional about the situation, and not emotional like, he's going to be welcomed back, but I also think he's going to be like, it's going to be it's a big situation because he's going to want to prove himself. I think there's going to be a lot going on. I think he will be distracted. And I think we'll win 3-0. And I think Arsenal won't be sentimental, and I think Arsenal will be looking to put Southampton to the sword, and those players are not sentimental anymore. We don't have players who are sort of they go to the pitch for war, and they go to the pitch for blood, and I think that Arsenal will really look to do a number on Southampton, and I hope they do, obviously. But I think they will really look to do a number on Southampton. Newly promoted side, goal difference up, all the things that you would think about for a professional performance. I think Arsenal will look to do it. So I think it will be 3-0.
Okay, Cal, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I 100% agree with Rob. I don't think it will be a Ramsdale masterpiece. I think it will be ruthlessness from Arsenal. I think they will go in and they will do a massive job. And as you say, there's no friends, and we are a machine, and our players don't care. But I also think Ramsdale's got the itinerary, and he knows what he needs to do. And the Arsene Wenger way is working, and it's all part of the bigger plan. And I think he'll throw a few goals in for us, and it will be a 4-0 win.
Okay.
Thank you, Ramsdale.
Thanks, Ramsdale. I think you'll have one eye. Well, is it an afternoon game kickoff? 5:30 kickoff, isn't it?
On Saturday?
Yeah.
I think it's a 3 p.m. I'll double check.
So I think you'll have one eye on Man City result. So I think there's a potential risk there that Man City could drop points against Fulham. So I think Fulham...
With a 3 o'clock kickoff.
We're playing at the same time.
Oh, okay. So I think, well, you say same time.
They delay the kickoff.
If they delay the kickoff by 5 minutes.
I can't, do you know what? Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you, Adam. I know what you're going to try and say. I honestly don't think Arsenal care about what Man City are doing.
Yeah, I know, but
it's killed them in so much that basically you win your game. You win your games.
Yeah, this is what I'm leading to, because I think there's a potential there that Man City could drop points, which could give a more advantageous stage for Arsenal in this point of the season. So I think it will be again result over performance, and I think you'll win 2-0.
I also think though, there's a lot of ex-Arsenal boys at Fulham. And a lot of ex-Arsenal boys...
Arsene Wenger's done it again.
But there's also a lot of ex-Arsenal boys there who still care about Arsenal. Maybe not so much Bernd Leno.
But you're forgetting there's a lot of Man City youth players at Southampton.
Yeah, so it works both ways. It does work both ways.
Yeah,
but I like to think that Arsenal look after their kids better.
Yeah.
You know?
We looked after them boys more than what Man. They don't mean nothing to Man City. Smith Rowe, all them boys, they mean something still.
Nah,
we still sing them.
Cal's talking tongue in cheek there, but let me tell you, when Arsenal play Fulham and Emil Smith-Rowe is on the pitch, and Saka is on the pitch, you can't tell me we're going to hear Saka and Emil Smith-Rowe once again.
100%.
We're still going to hear it.
Them boys will always be our boys. Like I say, you tell me the Arsenal fans that travel to that
Still
away
love
game will be wearing their shirts. Like, you know, Smith-Rowe. To be fair, if he has a good season or a good couple seasons, I could see him coming back to us. I know it's hard because
there might be some secret clause.
There might be a buyback clause
because when he started the season as well. I think he is a tremendous player. I've got a soft spot for him, I must admit.
I'm with you, Cal. A lot of those players have given us moments that we would never thought we would have. You know, Nketiah and Smith-Rowe. Sorry, it wasn't Nketiah, was it? Smith-Rowe against Tottenham. Nketiah against United. Reece Nelson against Bournemouth. Like, I still think about those moments in that title challenge, and I get
goosebumps. Yeah,
it's just so and I can remember I was driving home from work, and it was Arsenal Bournemouth, and I can remember where I was. I just got past Stansted Airport on the A120, and I was coming down the road, and Reece Nelson scored against Bournemouth, and I celebrated like I was at the game.
Yeah,
the commentary, it was like Peter Drury was on the commentary that day. It was so good. It wasn't Peter Drury. I have no idea who it was, but it might as well have been. And I celebrated like I was there. And it was like those players have given so much for the club. Unfortunately, when you raise the bar, you have to raise the quality of the players on the pitch as well. And it's just a shame. But you know,
also it's they're part of the team. They're part of the family because of they're homegrown, they're our talent, they're bred from us. It's almost like you sending your son out or like into the world. I know it's sounding ridiculous, but like you've grown with them, you've watched them, you've loved them,
you've seen their debuts.
Yeah, like it's all that magic. And even though they're at another club, that it's you still go. Like I go to Bowen. I know it sounds ridiculous. He's only 2, but I go. He's an Arsenal fan. Do you know what I mean? Like even though. Even when Ian Wright's doing commentary, I'm like, Arsenal legend. Petit was on Talk Sport the other day, and just hearing his voice, I was like, is that Petit?
Yeah.
I was in the car, I was like, I'm sure that's Petit. And they were like, World Cup winner legend, Petit. I was like, mate, the best head in football at the time. Petit.
The ponytail.
Yeah, the ponytail. Yeah, like, yeah.
I do feel like we love romanticising about some of our players. Like we really love.
And I love doing it as well. I love doing it.
We are definitely guilty of that. Like, and I know I am. So.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
It's only like West Ham and Bobby Moore in it. Let's be honest. Like Bobby Moore, them sort of players.
You romanticising.
It's magic.
Paolo Di Canio.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what a man! Julian Dix. Loved him.
Nigel Quasi.
Mate, listen. I used to.
Jonathan Spector.
I used to love.
Don't forget his brace against Man United in the.
I used to love Shaka Hislop.
I love Shaq.
Hislop.
You don't hear him anymore. It's sad, isn't it?
He does a lot of because he's
commentary, doesn't he?
Yeah, because he's not Trinidad and Tobago former international. He does a lot of like American broadcasting, but he's pretty good. But Craig Forrest, another one. He used to play West Ham at the same time. Yeah, he does comms over there, but and even to the point of there's a segue here for over the weekend. I bought FC25.
Oh, my kids talk about this at school. Jesus,
and it's good. But one of the commentators on there is ex-Arsenal and West Ham player Stuart Robson.
Yeah.
Strange commentary. I don't know where that's come from.
Yeah.
But
Stuart Radio 5.
But yeah, so we'll wrap up the all the content for the Premier League this week. But we're going to finish off this week with a question from a listener. It's from Nathan J. Rogers. And on Twitter this week, we've done a post about how Scott Parker is rebuilding his reputation as a manager. So Nathan's question is, do you think Parker could be a success in the Premier League when Burnley inevitably get promoted this season?
So who was the person who typed this in?
Nathan J. Rogers. He's the one that done the Oasis graphics for us.
Oh. Hi, Nathan.
Burnley fan. Big Burnley fan.
Hi, Nathan. Great question. However, you were asking me to comment on someone who has played for Charlton, Chelsea, West Ham, Tottenham, and Fulham.
And Newcastle.
I know, but I'm talking about the London clubs in this particular context. Right. In short, I couldn't give a shit about Scott Parker as a manager.
No, but you say that, all jokes aside, but could he be in line for the England job? If he does have success?
I don't think so. I don't think he's got enough credibility.
Don't you think he is that mould?
No, I think they are very much, you come through our ranks now.
No, but do you think he could? Do you think he could be pushed into that sort of going into the under 25? I mean, that's a big draw. Some people, that is all they want to do is manage England. You don't see it?
No, I can't see it. I don't think he was an FA man as a player. And I don't think he's an FA man as a manager. Because I think he could be very outspoken at times.
Yeah, he can be. I mean, he was quite public with Fulham, wasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, with the streets.
Fantastic!
I was literally just about to get out of my mouth. I was going to say, have you seen that thing? It's absolutely fantastic. I was thinking, God, they should re-release that. I was like, I won't put it, because I didn't see the actual video. I just saw the audio. I was thinking, oh my God, this is fantastic. Has he actually done that? And then.
It also works really well with Blur's Park Life.
Yeah. Can't take the boy out of Lambeth, mate. But going on to Parker in terms of rebuilding his credibility as an established coach. I mean, he's had quite an up and down sort of career at the moment. Well, for someone of his age already.
Yeah.
Parker started life coaching at Fulham, getting them promoted in his first full season, despite being an assistant manager before that. Although relegation followed the next season, he joined Bournemouth in the Championship to repeat that success in gaining promotion again.
Yeah.
Being back in top flight with Bournemouth and a lack of transfer activity, he found frustration. Despite winning his first, or avoid a loss in the first 3 games, they went on to have the next 3 games was quite catastrophic, having a 16-0 aggregate loss over the 3 games, which inevitably cost him his job at Bournemouth by saying that the team was unequipped, or the club was unequipped to play Premier League football. So he left by mutual consent. Following that, he was out of work until he took a very out-of-the-blue role with Club Bruges, where he took the team over, who were 4th in the league and 12 points off the top. Safe to say, after the club topped their Champions League group, they got knocked straight out, humiliating defeat, and he only won 2 league games in his 12 games in Belgium, and he was sacked shortly after. But in this summer just gone, he's taken over the role from Vincent Kompany at Burnley, who have been relegated from the Premier League. But other than the exception of a 1-0 defeat to Sunderland, who are top of the league, they are second and remain unbeaten throughout this season. I think one of the players that has thrived under Scott Parker, especially, has been Josh Brownhill, who's picked up, well, if it's 4 goals and a few assists, and has picked up man of the match performance in that. But I think,
how old is he?
He's 43 years of age. That's what I mean. So
he's only a year older than Arteta.
Yeah, he's got time on his side, and I think in terms of being an established Premier League player, he's got the experience there to back up his coaching.
He's got plenty of time. I mean, he's got potential. This could be honest. It's just about finding the right club for him, and hope Burnley are going to back him. He has a couple of seasons there. Why not?
The thing is, even if he gets Burnley promoted, he needs to stay there for a full season to really establish himself as a Premier League coach, because by the sounds of it, his only tenure that he stayed all that time was with Fulham, and again, their transfer activity was laughable because they were just buying everyone and anyone that didn't fit certain positions that he wanted. But I think if you give him time and give him the ability to coach a team without too much change, let him progress with what he's already got, I think he could do well.
I think, so jokes aside, I think he's a good manager. I don't think he's a top draw manager, and he's got time to become one.
Yeah.
But I also equally think he's got time to become a manager in the ilk of Mark Hughes. Like I don't see him becoming someone.
Is it Wilnock? Is it Wilnock?
I was literally actually in my notes.
Dan sort of gaffer.
In my notes, I've actually got him down as the millennial Warnock.
Yeah,
I think he could just get teams promoted into Premier League, but I don't necessarily think he's got the Premier League. I don't think he makes the upper. Is it echelons? I don't think he's got that in him, and good luck to him, because I'd love to see him do well as a British manager.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I'm not sure.
I think he's just another Vincent Company.
Well,
When you look at it, like he took over. He's an ex-Premier League icon. I think he's an icon. I'm not just saying that with the West Ham hat on, but I think when you look at, he's a leader. He's a captain. He was captain at Charlton. I think he might have had the armband at Newcastle at some point. I'm not too sure. He was at Chelsea. He was captain at Fulham. He was at Spurs. He was captain at West Ham at some point. I think he's just got that natural leadership qualities. I mean, playing wise, like he was decent. He was footballer writers award at some point, but I wouldn't say you could put him in the same bracket as Gerrard and Lampard. But maybe that's a good thing. You know, maybe being low key under the top rated English players might benefit him in a managerial sort of sense.
And actually, I think you could probably say the same about Mikel Arteta. I think Mikel Arteta,
exactly that. Yeah,
was I think he was a better footballer than Scotty Parker.
Yeah,
but I also think he was never getting anywhere near the Spanish team, really.
Yeah,
right. But actually,
no, but that Spanish team when he was about Jesus.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, you had to be very unlucky to.
But it's also quite well documented how obsessive Arteta was about football, and like I think you told me the story about post-it notes in his room.
Yeah, that's right. That was when he was Man City were on tour in America, and in his hotel room, I think one of his colleagues went in and said, like, checked on him, see if he was all right, and apparently he'd been up all night figuring out tactics on post-it notes, and he's like, are you trying to figure out tactics or a murder mystery crime?
No, but this is it. You talk about elitism. You've got to be obsessed. Like, I look back at the documentary with Arsenal, and when he's not playing in the garden with his kids, and that we all adore our kids, but he's that sort of mad scientist where you've got your kid playing in the garden and he's on the phone talking about tactics or talking about this and talking about that, and you sort of think, yes, you're elitism at this level, and don't get me wrong, Arsenal fans are absolutely getting the benefits of that, but at what detriment is him and his family? I thought that was quite a sad part of the documentary where like his son was sort of in the goal and he's like, "Dad, kick the ball at me" or whatever, and it's sort of like, well, actually, but then again, if you want to be at that level, this is why he's probably as successful as he is, and why Arsenal are reaping the benefits of it, because he is, that obsessed with it, and it's that sort of, but then that's all aspects of life, isn't it? You could be amazing dad 1 minute, but you crap at work, and then you could be really good at work, and then you think, I think it swings and roundabouts, and it goes round in a circle, doesn't it, unfortunately, but very philosophical. Where did that come from? That last beer is it.
That beer is doing you a right turn, isn't it? Yeah, I think he's got the potential to get there. Again, time is on his side. I mean, he's probably got another 20 years in his career as a coach. Like when you look at like David Moyes and what he achieved at West Ham, only winning his first ever trophy at 61, 62 years of age. I think.
I know you want to wrap up, but I just want to throw it out there. Look at what Fabregas is doing. Is it Cosmo or
Cosmo?
Is it
Como?
Como, sorry, yeah. I mean, there's a shout. Is he eventually going to get a move to the Premiership? And
I think he's got more of a football director's. He's got more of an investment in Como, isn't he?
Well, I think he owned it with Flamini or something.
And I think wasn't Dennis Wise there at one point? Como.
But I think
digressing, but you look at like young managers up and coming. Like I think there's a plethora of talent out there that are just waiting to be given the opportunity. Yeah. I mean, one figure I'm going to point out, who I've been tracking, is Jack Collison. at West Ham. I think, considering he had early retirement in his career, he went straight into coaching. No gap, nothing. He went straight into coaching. He was at the West Ham Academy, and then he went over to America, and he coached the Atlanta United second team, and got really good rave reviews. And then he went over to Huntsville, over there. So, and you think he's only 31, 32, but he's got 12 years on Scotty Parker already, but he's probably got quite a bit of experience already under his belt managing senior teams. So I think he could be one to watch out for. And also the one that's West Ham fans will know about is Will Steele. I think how young he is and managing Lens in France, it's ridiculous. I think he's going to be really, really good in years to come. I think he'll be a future West Ham manager in time for it.
But before we go, if you've enjoyed listening, please subscribe, please like, and please rate our podcast. And if you didn't, please like, please subscribe, and please rate our podcast, because it all helps. We enjoy what we do. We like chatting to each other on a Thursday night. And if you've listened this far, then you've enjoyed this podcast, this particular podcast. So.
And our wives have told us that we need to get our likes up and our downloads up, otherwise we're not allowed to do it anymore. So please do all the things.
And tell your friends.
That's it. Retweet, share that shit. Cheers, guys. Thanks again.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.